Very warm welcome to Racing International, our second local meeting of the day. We head down to KZN KwaZulu-Natal, where we've got 8 races on the card on the poly track. Let's go and have a look at the track. Well, as we tell you every week, over the 1,000 and 1,200 certainly helps to have those inside to middle draws. You're jumping halfway around the turn. Once you go around the top turn to 14, 16 and even the 1,800 metres, certainly helps to have those inside draws. Only a 400 metre run in when you turn for home, but the horses do. You watch them, they'll swing to the outside and they can certainly make up some ground. All right, first on the card is over the 1,000 metres, the maiden juvenile plate for the 2-year-olds. And number 1, Desert Winter is very short indeed. 4-1 on. Sure, that's short, eh? Only had the one run under the belt, ran second, beaten 4 1/4 lengths. That was over the 1,200 metres, showed plenty of speed and looks the right one here. But we've got plenty of unraced horses. And number 2, Horse Guards. Here's a comment from the powerful Dennis Dreyer stable down in KZN. He said, working extremely well, expecting a big run. So keep that in mind, priced up at 6-1. Number 3 from the Gavin Sale stable, Warren Kennedy jumps aboard. This is priced up at 13-2. Now, the thing that caught the eye here, it showed plenty of early speed and faded out on debut. Very disappointing when beaten 12.5 lengths and running into 4th. But they backed it off the map, 10s into 5-2. So obviously showing them plenty of good stuff at home, and I think it's worth including. I think you'll see a far better run tonight. Don't leave out the 6, needs to go in as well. A nicely bred individual. It's a 2-year-old son of VAR. Now, they're normally pretty precocious. They come early, worth including there. Alec Forbes, 6-1. There's only 6 runners in the field. Race 2 on the card is another 2-year-old race for the fillies, and it's over the 1,000 metres. Remember, it's not up the straight. They jump halfway around the turn here. Now, Dennis Dryer's stable's a very powerful stable. He sends out number 2 here. Looks hard to beat. Very promising debut. When there was actually, it was easy in the market. It actually opened 33-10 and drifted out to 11-2. Ran second, only beaten a length and 3/4. With that run under the belt, looks pretty hard to beat. But there again, we've got first timers in the race. And we haven't got a lot of comments from all of them, but I've thrown in Roy's Katrina having its first start. Nicely bred individual. Muzieni, gee, does well down there on that poly track. He boots home winner after winner. So, and it's firm in the market now into 22-10. All right, number 7, Strike Back, another first-timer. This is a 2-year-old daughter of Curveball, the Australian stallion. And there's no money around for this, but if you look at the field, there's nothing really much in it. So I'm going to pop it in, hopefully get a bit of a roughie to help the trifectas. And number 3, a Rebel Rose. Wendy Whitehead stable. His stable's going nicely at the moment. It's not a big stable, but she's having a fair share of winners. Alec Forbes jumps aboard. Race 3 on the card is a merit-rated 70 handicap over the 1,600 metres, and number 4, Lonely Are the Brave. Now, we've tipped this a few times, and we were disappointed 2 starts ago when it had its first run on the poly track and only went down half a length. Then followed up with another good effort last time, and both these runs have been over the 14. Now steps up to the 1,600. Lyle Hewitson, the young superstar, he only claims 2.5 now. He carries only 56.5 with that claim off the back, drawn nicely in barrier 5, and I think we're going to get around about 4-1 each way. Number 8, Let's Go West, Anton Marcus. You can never leave him out, and this one's drawn on the paint in barrier 1. 2 decent gallops under its belt. The last 2 starts finishing just in behind them. Certainly going to go close shortly to get that second career victory. Shreya's Star, I remember we liked it last time, and a duly obliged when they backed it in from 7-2 all the way into 14-10. Went on to win comfortably, and now it's got the 4 kilos off the back. Last time out it carried 60 kilos, and with the claim off now it's only carrying 57. I might have tipped this a bit higher, but it is drawn out a wee bit wide in barrier 9. Thrown in the 2 from the Dennis Dreyer stable. The tongue tie goes on today. Now, he brought it back from Cape Town where he took it down for the season. It won its maiden down there and actually put up a couple of decent races. Then they brought it back from a spell. The comment from the stable, needed its last, and they reckon they can make it into the top 4. Here we go, race 4 on the card, a Fillies and Mares 70 handicap over the 1,600 metres, and Mattafamilius, gee, we tipped it last time, didn't it? It let us down, missed the start by 2 lengths. In fact, in all its races so far, it always misses a start. But when it does get away, I tell you what, it's got loads of ability, so I'm taking a bit of a chance here. Anton Marcus, who rode it last time, he's back aboard again today, and it's drawn nicely in barrier 5. There are dangers in the race, though, because as I said, he does miss the start. Number 7, Music World with Anthony Del Pesh. Bit unlucky last time in that race, only going down by just over a quarter of a length. Got balked late, didn't get a clear run there, but there's already been a winner out of that form line. All right, trifecta time, and we're going here with number 12, and a few people actually liking this to win the race. Young Lyle Hewitson can only claim 1.5 here, now carries 52. So a light galloping weight, has been running pretty consistently and gets a decent draw in barrier 3. All right, if you're looking for one more for your trifectas, well, Queen Justine with Jacobson aboard. Now, there's a little bit of outside money for this at 15-2. It isn't drawn the best. It will need a luck from barrier 14, but holding form pretty nicely. Race 5 on the card is over the 1,600 metres. Fillies and Mares 83 handicap. And number 8's the one I'm liking here from the Dean Canamea stable. Anthony Del Pesce rode it last time when they brought it back to the poly track and actually ran a decent race there. Running on strongly, was only beaten a length and 3/4, and I think it'll appreciate the extra 200 tonight from a decent draw in barrier 6. Few people are talking to me about number 2, Skipper Beat. Now, I'm not a big fan of second run after S, but there was money around for this on debut when having its first run up in KZN. They moved it up from Cape Town, and it was a little disappointing. Never really got into the race, and I think give it another chance here, even though it's second run after the break. All right, number 4 has got to be included here. This is from the Sean Terry stable. Young Lyle Hewitson claims that valuable 2.5 off the back, brings it in with a nice galloping weight here of 54.5 and gets a decent draw in barrier 4. Popped in number 1, Overlappy, looking for another one. It's coming off a lengthy layoff of 154 days, but gets the services of top jockey Anton Marcus aboard, and it's very firm in the market now into 3-1. Race 7 on the card, or 6 on the card, apologies. It's over the 1,600 metres. Merit rated 70 handicap. And number 1, Roy's Winter Patch. Looks the right one here. I'm going to go with a little bit of outside money here. It's at 12-1, drawn nicely in barrier 2. There was no money around for it last time, and that was first run back from a gallop, but it's had 23 days in between runs. I'm sure they've got another gallop in. I think it's a very open-looking race, and I'm going to take my chances. Either a nice place bet here or a little bit of each-way value. Number 2, a New Hampshire. Keegan DeMello, 33-10. This is drawn in barrier 5. Now, it is its third run after a gelding. It came out and won first effort after the gelding, and wasn't disgraced last time when running into third. I think you'll get another decent run out of this horse. Now, Mike de Kock, always got to respect his stable. He sends out number 4, Guy from Dubai, with the apprentice claiming 4 off the back. Brings it in with only 55.5. Has to overcome a little bit of a tricky draw, but if it can repeat its last start, where it ran a cracker running on strongly, was only beaten 3/4 of a length. Number 7, Lavender Landscape. Lyle Hewitson takes 2.5 off the back, brings it in with 55 now. Blinkers go on. Please note that. Makes its local debut. Has been running up in Joburg and third run after a rest. Look for a bit of improvement taking on weaker company here. Here we go, race 7 on the card. It's over the 1,900 metres. Nice race, this one. Pretty competitive indeed, and I lean toward a bit of each-way value here with number 3, Sovereign Rain. It's got the apprentice claiming 4 off the back and brings it in with now only 54 kilos. It's been running on strongly in its last 2 outings, and they've both been over the 1,600. I think it's been crying out for this distance, and it's going to love running over the 1,900 metres. Nice each-way bet there at 9-2. A few people are saying to me, but what about number 1 from the Dean Canamea stable? Well, I tell you what, the handicap is sick and tired of this horse. It's our 1-4 of its last 5, and he's certainly starting to punish it now. It's still very firm in the market, and I'm certainly not leaving it out. Currently priced up at 2-1. Throw in the 2 from the Stephen Moffat stable. All the guys are starting to go down to Durban now, or KZN, because the big season's about to happen. Starts next weekend. Blinkers were on last time and it got up. There's a form update here. Got up to win a nice race, winning by just under a length and a half, and that was at the Vale against stronger company. All right, you need another one? We'll pop in number 4, Roman Carnival. Stewie Randolph, not friendless in the market, currently priced up at 9-2, drawn nicely in barrier 3, and certainly put up a much better effort when they put the blinkers back on last time, where it stayed on nicely to only go down 2 3/4. Race 8 on the card, the lucky last. It's a maiden plate for the fillies and the mares. 1900's where we're going. Another open-looking race here. Certainly doesn't get easier, but I reckon I found a bit of a sneak here at 4-1 with Brandon Lorena aboard. Dictate, I like it. Should enjoy the extra. Nicely bred individual. It's her 3-year-old daughter, Silvano. She's been going to the front. I hope they give her a bit of a chance tonight and tuck her in from a decent draw in barrier 5. I think she's been looking for this trip, and I recommend a nice each-way bet there. Now, don't leave out the 2 from the Forbes stable. It's got the claim of 4 kilos off the back and certainly brings in with reasonable weight now, 56. Drawn nicely in barrier 2. Ran on the poly track last time over the course and distance and actually stayed on pretty nicely. And that wasn't a bad run when only beaten 3 3/4. As I said, not the strongest of fields. And number 7, Liberty Market. Jacobson jumps aboard at 9-2. He's ridden in its last 2 outings, and it was a fair effort considering it was drawn out wide in 9 out of 12, but unfortunately drawn out a bit wide again in barrier 8. But another one who stayed on quite nicely last time over the mile and should appreciate the extra. Number 6, if you're looking for another one, Duncan Howes, lightly raced with Keegan DeMello aboard, 28-10. Now, not drawn the best in barrier 12, but showed nice improvement last time, and the lightly raced, it could have the more improvement to come. Yep, competitive carb. Couple of short price favourites early on. Now, we had a look yesterday. There was a couple of short price favourites in race 1 and 2 at the Vale, and they got rolled early on, so watch out for that. A couple of upsets happening here in South Africa at the moment. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing in Tips. From myself, Rod McCurdy, and all the team, we wish you a very successful punting weekend.